Hey everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. If you can do us a big favor and hit that subscribe button, give us the big thumbs up, like, follow, share, reach out to 25 of your closest friends, family, or followers. Let them know about the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. It's been it, just a real amazing time here at Voices for Voices. We just completed, obviously, the end of the year. We're past that. We've gone over those analytics, but we just passed yesterday, dropping 30 brand new episodes of the show in 30 days. So, let's call it a 30 for 30. So we're very surprised because we just go to work and that's what we do and we help people and it's to take a step back and see numbers like that, 30 and 30 brand new episodes in 30 days. And again, you're looking at the administrator as well, so not just you hosting the majority of the shows, but also getting them ready to be posted out to the world so you and others can watch and listen and be part of the Voices for Voices family, which is growing literally by the minute. We are reaching a lot of people. Uh, we're One of the big goals we have, just in general, is we're reaching at least 100 countries and territories. Our big goal is to reach at least 300 countries, territories, provinces. And right now we're reaching 1,008, I believe, cities worldwide. And I don't see a reason why we can't be reaching 3,000 cities worldwide. And with your help, I know we can do it. It's something free to do, to share, like, subscribe, and we would greatly appreciate that. So today was another another day, another strategy session to see where we're at, what the following rest of the month, but not just the month of January. We look at things, monthly and then quarterly. So that just means, there's 12 months in a year, and so quarterly. So that would be there's 4 quarters in a year. So we just take the total of 12 months, divide it by four for the 4 quarters, and then that takes us to 3 months. So we had a pretty robust strategy session on where we're at, where we see ourselves in the short term, the medium term, and then the long term. And it it just keeps it, and I know I use this word a lot. It keeps amazing us. It keeps amazing me, like the Lone Star song, amazing. And he's talking about an individual, but I'm talking about individuals too. We're just amazed at the traction that we're picking up and we have picked up as this small bite-sized organization, and we just uh continue to drive forward. We just do it. There are times that are easier than not, uh, and those times that they're not. Uh, for instance, there was a period of time where there might have been, I think, 2, maybe even 3 weeks where we were kind of in a rut, where it felt like we weren't making strides forward, no matter how small of strides forward that we were looking to make. And it seemed like we would never get out of those ruts. And it is, wow. Uh, and then to come out on the other side, those are the thoughts that we try to remind ourselves that first off, we know nobody's perfect. We know that. And so we just need to get it out of our heads. And I'm talking about myself, uh, where I just have to get out of my head that there's going to be times where we're going to have to stop, revisit something, potentially fix it, and then move forward. And I don't know anybody on the planet that doesn't have to do that from time to time. I'm even thinking of Elon Musk and testing the rockets and landing them back on ships, and uh, there there are tests that go very well, and then there's tests that go very well, but there might be some hiccups along the way. But they're collecting that data and that information so that when they go on to the next test, that they're able to utilize what they've learned in the past or even as in the present, that going forward they're able to go, okay, I remember when this happened, or we need to protect against this. Doesn't mean that no, again, doesn't mean that there's going to be no mistakes, but we just try not to make the same mistake twice. And that's the same thing for me. Uh, I try to not make the same mistake twice. Have I? Yeah, well, yeah, I've made the same mistake twice. The goal is not to, but we're human beings, so we're not perfect. So there are going to be times that no matter how hard we try, that we're going to fail, or we're not going to meet the goals that we set out to. But there's going to be times when not only do we meet those goals, but we surpass them. And it's those times that we sit back and look and say, all right, this is worth it. It's very much worth it what we're doing. Because as we talked to our most recent guests, and just about every guest we have on, it, depending, how the conversation goes, we talk about that of, we can only do the best that we can, and when we mess up, when we screw up, whatever words you want to use, I mean, it doesn't. This is something I've learned over time. It doesn't do a whole lot of good to uh, look at something we messed up on and to dwell on it. Now, have I done that? You bet you, I have. I've done that before, but it hasn't done me any good when I do that. When I can't get that out of my head, that what I did is like, oh, Justin should have known, should have checked that, that second or third or fourth or whatever, however many times. But guess what? Because we all make mistakes, sometimes the mistakes we make, others may not see. And so sometimes it's not as bad as what it seems to be. And again, to go back on uh, some of my reflection, we could spend a day, half a day, an hour, whatever amount of time. We could spend an amount of time going, oh, we screwed up. We're the worst. Instead of just taking that time to go, okay, what did we mess up? Okay, yep, we're acknowledging it, and we're putting an implementation, like a fix. How do we fix this? So we can get things rolling in the process, because a lot of times there's a process that goes after the fix comes in. So we go, okay, did we want to screw up? No. Did we want to mess up? No. But it doesn't matter. We just want to make sure we're not dwelling as much as we could. And that's where I really found myself try not to dwell on those inefficiencies or things I do wrong or that I could do better or things I should have been able to see or hear and go, oh, Justin, why didn't you know that? You knew this from before. So by talking about this on the show, it's another reminder to myself as well as to our viewers, our listeners, anybody who follows us, that we all make mistakes, no matter how much we want to pretend that we don't. We all do. We do. And it's okay. It's just when we realize that we've made a mistake or something in the process just doesn't feel right, and we go, "Oh, okay, we should have did this step before that step," or whatever the thing is that needs fixed, is to shorten that amount of time from when we notice it to when we actually just get down to act fixing it. Because yeah, we can just go off on everybody. We can go off on ourselves. Say, Justin, like I said, should have known, should have known, should have known, or somebody else. But it doesn't do anything good. It's like, all right, we're human. What do we need fixed? How do we fix it? And let's fix it instead of throwing in extra time where we're name calling, where um, we're talking down. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't do any good for anybody, especially the mental health of the person that messed up. Because don't you think that the person that messed up already feels bad enough? I already know, like when I screw up, I already feel bad enough that somebody brings it up and wants to harp on it and go on and on and on. I've already gotten to that point, and I'm already trying to move on from that. And I think that's a big thing for us to do, is to treat others, especially ourselves, with compassion, Because again, we already know if we screwed something up, we already know it. Once we find out, we know it. Like, all right, Justin, beg on it. Why'd you do that? Oh, because I wanted to. Well, we know that's not the answer. It's just being facetious. So why why stress on it? Let's just find what needs fixed, find what needs moved around, whatever that thing is. Let's just find it and let's again shorten the time from name calling, yelling. We get it, it's inconvenient. We know it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient to everybody. It's inconvenient to everybody's mental health because somebody can be like, you know, name calling and that, and so that's not good with the mental health of, talking down and all that. And then the person or persons that made the mistakes, you don't think they already feel bad about it, and it's like, all right, I wish I wouldn't have screwed up or messed up, whatever the word is, made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Uh, and I think the big learning is, again, to shorten that time from once we notice that there's a mistake to when we actually fix it. And there, again, there might be a process after we fix it that's out of our hands. Meaning, I could fix something and submit it wherever that may be, and it may be 3 or 4 days, or maybe a week, or more. But at that point, there's nothing we can do. We've already done our piece. We've already identified what went awry, what what do we need to do to fix it? Let's fix it. Let's get it submitted, and let's just do things that way. That's something that I've had to come across for my own self is to be compassionate. We talked about this on many shows, but it's so important. That's how we talk about it. To be compassionate to not just others, but to ourselves, because we're human as well. And the easy thing to do, what's the easy thing to do? To just go off on ourselves and Justin, you shouldn't have did this, Justin that, Justin. We could do that and then maybe feel good about ourselves, like, oh, I told myself. I know it sounds super um extreme, I guess, maybe in a way. Uh, but it happens. And there's nothing we can do about it. After the mistake, the thing is done, it's wrong. There's not a darn thing we can do as far as what we did. I mean, the worst feeling in the world to me is when I find out that I made a mistake or I did something wrong. At that very instant, that is probably the worst I feel. And so anything after that that I say to myself internally, or I don't know, uh, uh, people they talk to themselves in the mirror. I don't know. They go, hey, we gotta get this ironed out and fixed. Well, no kidding. But we don't need to, take it to those levels where we're just telling ourselves or telling others, that, oh, well, should have known, should have did this. It's like, no, mistakes are gonna happen. It's all right. Let's just fix it and move on. There's not a darn thing we can do. We it, there's just not. We just have to look at what's the most efficient way, the best way, uh, well, also putting those, double checks in there just to make sure that, like we said, that how do we fix this? How do we prevent as much as possible from this happening again, especially back to back? Like something happens, we mess up, now and then, and then if it's 5 minutes later, then it's like, okay, we just need to take a step back and let's maybe work on something else. Maybe work on nothing for a period of time. That's that's what I'm talking about because we could still be clouded by that negativity if we're still talking down on ourselves or others. Yeah, it's easy to, say, like I said, just, talking down is one of the easiest thing to do. Call ourselves names and uh, say, well, this is why that. It doesn't do any good. It doesn't. And it's easy to say. It's easy to say this, right? So it's easy for me to share on the show and say this. But something very recently did happen. And so by talking through it, I'm helping myself get more grounded and share. And I'm sharing on the show. And maybe you have a show, or maybe you have things that you do that help you uh, take a step back, whether it's working in a journal, maybe playing video games. I don't know what that is for you. Those are those are things that you do. Uh, but it's okay to do that. It's okay. It really is. The world's not going to end because I made this mistake. We're just going to, again, identify it. How do we fix it? Let's fix it. Maybe do like an after action report. Not that that has to be more work. I'm thinking more of whether we have to write something down or just in our mind that we're saying, okay, if we're doing this thing 3 times a month, then each of the 3 times a month that we do this thing, this process, this topic, we might want to go a little bit slower, even though it's easy to go, oh, we're so close, we're so close, we're so close. Because that's how I feel like, oh, we're so close. And sometimes and get like it's so close-itis where like we're so close, we're so close. It's like when I was in school, they would call it like senioritis. So, that last couple weeks of school, uh, our minds as students were on summer vacation. Uh, that it's like, all right, well, we got 2 weeks, we got one week, we got 2 days, we got one day, and it's interesting. So here's a here's a story about that. When I was oh, where was I? I was in middle school, and again, I was still in the years where I I don't know. I I just wasn't doing the best job, being a good student, or not even just being a good student, but just being a student that could just sit there and not have to, be the, I don't know, class clown or what. And my my mom worked at the school that that I was going to, and it was the last week of school. And one of the ways we could get punished was, depending on the severity and all that. I mean, I don't do the fighting and all that. I'm just more of like, that's just not me. I'm just more of the, I don't know, or I was, the like the talker. And so I have that saying of like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Well, I could have heeded that advice, that there are many times, especially those times. So it's the last week of school before Christmas, before summer break here in the United States. And I was in class, and again, my mom worked at the school. So she was at work at the school. And one of the, again, one of the last, so there, let's just say there's 5 days left in school. At some point, and probably like the second or third to the last day, meaning that there was only like 2 days maybe left until we'd be out for the summer break. Again, my mom was at work, I was at school, and of course I had to run my mouth about something. And did I need to do it? No. I think I would. I think looking back, I think it had a lot to do with my insecurity of myself, and that I was looking for some kind of, I don't know, validation or something like that. And so I couldn't keep my mouth shut, and I ended up in detention. It was either the last day of school or the second to last day of school. And part some of the time that so school would end, and if I couldn't drive, I was in middle school, and if I didn't want to take the bus home, most of the times I would ride with my mom to and from school. It just made sense. We're going to the same place, and both ways. We're going to school, and then we're going home. And some of the times I would, after school would end, my mom would still be working a little bit longer, like either a half hour, an hour longer. And many of the times I would go down to the gym while I'm waiting for my mom to finish. And I would just, play basketball, just, practice shooting, foul shots and layups, and just, and so that's what I would do to kind of pass the time. And so it kind of helped me practice because I was playing sports at the time. And some of the times I didn't. I was in detention, which it depends on teacher to teacher. But this teacher, it was after school's over, you go to their classroom, and you have to like sit there in the class for that hour or 45 minutes or whatever the time may be. Um, I mean, we didn't have phones back then, so it wasn't something like now where it wouldn't be like, okay, you can't use your devices, can't use your phones or that. It was just, okay. you're going to come sit here for a half hour, an hour, and this is what you're going to do. Well, I told my mom uh, that I was just going to go down shoot baskets. Well, I wasn't. I was going to one of my teachers' room in detention because I think I racked up. Oh, what was it? I think it was three detentions in a row. I don't know if this was at the same part of the year. I just remember it's been so many years. Oh my gosh. So I would try to hide it, right? Like any kid, trying to hide it from their parents because they didn't want I didn't want my mom to know that I'm going to be in detention because then it's automatically going to be like, well, why were you in detention? And it's like, because I said this, and then why did you say that? And it's like, I already know I did something wrong. I'm sorry. Uh, so anyway, so I was in detention. So I'll get to the how many after this part of the story. Just bring back memories. Oh my gosh. Uh, and and so I think I like put my head down to sleep, or I don't know, just the past on the desk, just past the time in detention. The one I'm referring to is the last week of school, and the teacher had left a room for I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, came back. And I was the only one in there because, right, there's not supposed to be a lot of people in detention. Right? People are supposed to be good, follow the rules, be kind, and not be not nice and say not nice things. And and so at this time, when the teacher had left the room, he must have went down to the office where my mom was working and talked to her and said, "Oh yeah, your son's in detention and he's in my room, my classroom." So on the ride home, uh, my mom was like, so it came up. It was a topic of conversation. At first I was like, I can't. At least I was somewhat smart where I didn't try hiding it and hiding it and hiding it. Like I wasn't stupid because I was at the same school where the teacher and my mom were at the same we're all at the same school, and it's not like that he had to walk miles and miles to get to where my mom's office was at. And so my mom we got into this discussion, me and my mom, and so it was either the second to last day of school or it might have been the last day of school. Like it's the last day of school and you found yourself in detention, and so there is that of you would think I would learn. But the other thing I was, oh my gosh, oh, I got a couple, I got two more. I got, unfortunately, I got stories for a lot of different things. But this is the stuff like makes right like now it makes me chuckle and laugh looking back. Like wasn't like I didn't put anybody in danger. I didn't. It wasn't any of that. It was just talking back and not saying nice things. And didn't mean that I was any better than anybody else. Uh, it, it didn't mean that at all. It just meant that uh, yeah, I wasn't causing a ruckus or anything. But the same teacher, and I think this was earlier than this last week of school with the last detention with saying, "Oh, telling their mom they're playing basketball when they're actually sitting in my room in detention, Mr. Hayes." And So that's what he called me. Uh, so the other time thinking with this same teacher, uh, it was looking back, it's I don't want to say it's hilarious because it's not, I'm not condoning bad behavior and talking, I'm not at all. But for me, having my mom working at the same school as I'm going to, you would think I'd have an incentive not to run my mouth and all that. But be that as it may. But a different part of the year, same teacher, I started whatever whatever I was talking about. Uh, and I remember the teacher, and he had this distinctive voice, Mr. Hayes. And I was like, oh no. He goes, Mr. Hayes, I'll see you. That's one detention. And then I kept talking, right? You think I would just like zip it. That I would I not actually zip it, but just like stop talking. And I was like, and then I said something else. And then and then he goes, Mr. Hayes, that'll be two detentions. And I think I got up to three in a row. Uh, and so I can laugh at it now, not at the time. And I don't condone this activity. That's what I'm keeping what the conversation and that was it was just me not being a as kind of a person as I should have been. And then we'll leave the show on this next part here. So there's another teacher, same school. I think it might even have been the same year. Uh, and she came in the I don't know if she would always sorry my eyes watering here with this light and my allergies. Uh, if you're listening, obviously you're not going to see this, but to the people watching, that's what I'm doing. I'm rubbing my eye, trying to make it stop watering. And uh, okay, so there's this other teacher. Okay, now I'm gonna try this one. It's having all kinds of. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. To me it is. Uh, so another teacher, so she would come in a little bit late, uh, not very late, but she would, when the bell would ring, she would wait out for all the students to come in, and sometimes she would get in conversations with other teachers, and or she was gonna go maybe like if we were having a quiz or a test, she might be down getting picking up the copies from the office and she would have different versions of the tests and quizzes, so it would deter cheating and copying off of somebody else. And so anyway, so one of those days, let's say, because it's not these days, like now, many years ago, uh, she was doing what she was doing, the teacher, and I do not condone any of this activity at all. Uh, I was the one time we had, I don't know if anybody's been to like a sporting event. They do the wave from time to time where, one area stands up and waves their hand up, and then you go around and around the stadium or the arena. And uh, so one of the times, like we were doing that, where like I got that started, and like I think I was sitting maybe in the middle, and so she'd be writing on the board, and then people would be doing the wave and going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Uh, and she's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" So I think I got a detention or something from that. but that wasn't the real the, what I think of right now. I think of her coming into class late, and I'm like, give my teacher a detention for being late. And so, my fellow students, they're like, no, you won't. You won't do that. And I'm like, oh, you don't think I will? And and so I was like, all right, you don't think I will? So I did. So I knew its drawer because I see, sometimes teachers would make it official that you were in detention, and sometimes they wouldn't. So some of them would fill out the paper, and then they would file that with the office and all that, and then you were supposed to get it, I think, get it signed, I think by by your mom or dad or your guardian. Um, and others didn't. And so the ones that didn't, of course, those were the ones I was trying to like not not really share with my mom and that, and then ultimately with my dad. So I did. I wrote up a detention on the paper. It was like the three colors. So then it was like the yellow, white, and pink, and like the student got a copy, the teacher got a copy, and then I think a copy went to like the main office. And uh, so yeah, I did that, and I I gave her a detention because I left it on her desk, like with a pen for her like to sign. Um, and I don't think I put my name. And so then it was the whole who did this? And then I'm just sitting there, like, wasn't me, I didn't do it. And then of course then it gets into like, well, if nobody's gonna tell, like, well, then everybody's just gonna be in detention. And so then at that time, they're like, Justin did it. So, like, Justin, I'll see you after class. I'm like, no, because she was a stickler of filling out the paperwork and all that. So trying to have some lighthearted conversation. Were these good things to do? Good habits to have? No, absolutely not. Uh, I shouldn't. I I shouldn't have talked back to my teacher. I shouldn't have talked down to anybody, um, or make somebody uncomfortable. Like talking about I don't even know. Um, so I don't condone it, but these are things I did. I was a kid once, um, and so I just thought I would share that because sometimes, uh, sometimes reminiscing, even though it was not the best. These weren't what the best things. I'm laughing, and I apologize for laughing. I apologize to the teachers that if they're watching or listening, uh, that I made lighthearted comments about the class and the detentions. Uh, but every once in a while, we just have to laugh, and so this was my way to kind of round out this episode of talking about like we all make mistakes. Let's just try not to harp on them or take too much time restating the obvious that there was a mistake. Like we know, and we're not happy. We didn't plan to do it. It just happened. And so that's kind of the first message. And then the second is obviously, some years later, obviously, this is more than 20 years later, uh, we could find ourselves maybe laughing or just having a quick joke and not that we're laughing at people. I'm laughing at myself. I'm not denying that I didn't put myself in these situations and get detentions. I mean, I wasn't in detention every single day of the year, uh, but there were sometimes I was, and uh, and so I just I don't know, just thought I could maybe share that and maybe make somebody laugh and chuckle or be like, yeah, that he's not perfect, that's been my whole point. This whole thing, 410 plus episodes, is when I say that I'm not perfect, I don't think I'm perfect. I'm not trying to show that I'm perfect. I am not perfect, and that's the other layer of what I just shared, that I'm not perfect. Never was, never will be. And so we don't need to beat up on ourselves, talk down on ourselves. That's the easy thing to do. That's the very easy thing to do. Just to say, oh, well, yeah, screwed up again. That's the easy thing to do. The little bit tougher thing to do is to go, okay, made a mistake. It's not really a whole lot I can do about it. There's going to be need to be some fixes. Could be minor fixing, could be very in-depth fixing. Uh, Nonetheless, we need to do some fixing, but that's okay. It's okay. It really is. I'll go back to my very first group therapy when I came out of the hospital in November 2017. I've mentioned this in my book, The House of You Prescription for Living, where I was literally just coming out of basically out of the valley of what seemed a sure death. And I was I was having a very hard time, a really hard time. And this gentleman was our uh, one of our art instructors. And there was one day lunch would be like right after we would have his class. And And the one day, like I literally I just needed somebody to talk to. And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And I said, I guess I'm okay. I guess I'm all right. And he goes, yes, at this very moment, you are safe and you are okay. That doesn't mean in the future, doesn't mean whether a second from now, an hour from now, 10 year, 20 years, doesn't mean that there's not going to come a point where you're not. But right now, you're at the hospital, so the therapy was held at the hospital. Um, and so he said, you're seeing the psychiatrist every day. You're seeing the nurse monitoring your blood pressure because I was one of the medicines I was on. I was worried, like I was worried about everything. That my blood pressure would either be too high or be too low, would have too much of this vitamin or too low of that vitamin, and I was just like, those things have 8 years later have carried with me that when I go through like my evening prayers, that's one of the things I recite to myself. Like, like right now, Justin, you're safe and you're okay. It's not saying again, not saying that in a second or in an hour or in 10 minutes or 2 minutes or a month. Not talking about that. We're talking about this, that this is where the grounding comes in of what use is if I get upset about a mistake that I make or somebody else makes? It's not going to do a whole lot of good because all I know is right this second, I'm safe and I'm okay. Like I might not even get to the point to be able to see whatever the mistake was to be fixed. Like, so why would I be worried about that? I hope that makes a little bit of sense. But thank you for tuning into this episode. If you can hit that subscribe button, if you can give us the big thumbs up, like, follow, share. If you can send an episode or a few or the title page uh, for the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast to 25 or 50 of your closest friends and just let them know about us. That we're trying to help at least 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. We want to reach at least 300 countries over the course of my lifetime and beyond, and we're just over 100 countries as we are having this show right now, and that we want to reach at least 1,000 cities worldwide over the course of my time and beyond, course of my lifetime and beyond. And right now we're at 1,008, I think is the number we're at for cities that we've reached. Uh, and thank you for being with us. Thank you so much. It means a lot. We love you. We pray for everybody, whether you're a believer in God or another higher power, or whether you're not. We're a believer that good vibes. We can never have enough good vibes. So until next time, let's celebrate the voices of everybody. Let's celebrate the voices of everybody. And please, please, please be a voice for you or somebody in need. We'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you so much. We love you. Bye bye for now.